Okay, the next special product we're going to be talking about, and again, remember we're talking about binomials, is a sum and difference pattern. So it's a product of a binomial that involves a sum and one that involves a difference. Now what has to be true with this sum, which is addition, and this difference, which is subtraction, we have to have the same two terms in each binomial. So we'll have an A and a B, and we'll have an A and a B. One of those binomials is going to be a sum, one of them is going to be a difference. If we see this pattern emerge, we can run through this using FOIL, and we're going to do that in just a bit. But something is always going to happen if we have the same two terms, first time being added, next time being subtracted. And ultimately it doesn't matter if that A minus B term is first, or factor, that factor A minus B is first and that factor A plus B is second. The order of these two doesn't matter, but what matters is one is plus, one is minus. Let's figure out what this is by using the FOIL algorithm. Let's do our first times our first. We'll get A squared. Our outers will make a positive A times a negative B is a negative AB. And our inners, a positive B times a positive A is going to be a positive AB. Those are what? Opposites. What do you get if you add opposites? 0. So there is no middle term. So we did our first times our first, we did our outers and inners, now let's do our last times our last. B times negative B is going to be negative B squared. This right here is going to be the product of a sum and a difference of two binomials being multiplied. The middle term is always going to drop out. So what I'm saying to you is this: if you saw a 2x plus a 10 multiplied by a 2x minus a 10, basically the FOIL algorithm just becomes the FOIL algorithm. It's firsts and lasts, and that's it. Because our outers and our inners are going to be opposites. You see it here, look. 2x and negative 10 is negative 20x. Positive 2x and positive 10 is positive 20x, and those add to be nothing. So whenever we multiply these, we're just going to have our first times our first, 4x squared, our last times our last, minus 100, because that's a positive 10 and a negative 10. And there's your answer. Notice it's only two terms, and it's because that middle term drops out. So now we'll look over some examples in the next video.